And we are officially live. Welcome everybody to the Church Connect Bootcamp live stream. My name is Matt.
And my name is Michael.
And we are both really excited to answer all of your questions about how to use Church Connect and show you how to build a website in Church Connect for your church or your ministry. It's really simple, really easy. We're going to do it. I'm going to build a whole website from scratch right here in this live stream just to illustrate the process and show you how easy this is. But before we get into all of that, I've got a few resources that I think are going to be really beneficial for all of you in your journey with building your website. First is a YouTube channel. You're probably already watching this on YouTube, so just make sure you click that subscribe button to stay up to date on everything else that we are putting on YouTube. Like this live stream, we actually have another Church Connect live stream we're doing same time next week, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this live stream after the fact, it's not live anymore. You can't join us in the chat, but you can still subscribe and be a part of future live streams. So make sure that you subscribe to the channel there. Also, that channel has content that has nothing to do with Church Connect about other features. So it's really helpful with everything that you're doing in your account. Yes. Michael, why don't you tell them about the Facebook group?
Yeah, I would love to. I would love for you guys to just check out our Facebook group. It should be facebook.com/group/ChurchTrac, and we would love to just connect with you there. We have a ton of churches that are just involved in the software, and even if they're not talking about the software, they're talking about church things and being involved in their community. So feel free to be a part of that community there and just learn more about how to use ChurchTrac. We have a ton of users, Matt, that just love to be in there and talk about our software and talk about, doing life together as churches. And so really great opportunity to connect with some other church leaders. Yeah.
In fact, if you're watching this, if you're in the Facebook group and you're watching this now, make sure to jump over into the YouTube channel to join us in the live chat. Because if you're watching this from the Facebook group, that's great, but we're not monitoring the chat there or the comments. So jump over to YouTube if you have any questions, just to make sure that you can be a part of the conversation. But all of you watching this, if you are a ChurchTrac user, we would love for you to join that group so that they can help answer any questions you have about your Church Connect site. In fact, one of the best parts about the Facebook group is churches sharing their Church Connect page. Because, all of you who have built a Church Connect page, you are so proud of it. It's your baby. And then new churches come along and ask for advice or for inspiration. So go join the Facebook group if you need some inspiration for how to build your Church Connect site and how to make it great. Because churches there and church leaders there would love to answer your questions, show off their work, and help you make something similar for your ministry. And last but not least, whenever you are in your ChurchTrac account, if you ever have a question, no matter what, there is an orange help button in the top right-hand corner of the screen. I'll zoom in just so that no matter if you're watching this on your phone, you can see this. There's that orange help button. If you click on it, a drop-down window appears, and we make a few suggestions regarding which user guide article you should read for this based on the screen that you're looking at. But we also have a couple buttons at the bottom, one that says Show All Help Topics. It takes you straight to our user guide. So you can read all of the articles we've written on Church Connect or anything else in the software. And all of our support videos that we have on our YouTube channel for these features are also there. And then the Ask Us a Question button takes you to our support ticket so that you can reach the support team anytime you have questions. Our support team is amazing. And I'm not just saying that because they're listening to this live stream right now. I'm saying it because they genuinely are amazing. My background is actually in customer support. I did that at a few companies before here. Yeah. And this is the best team I've ever been a part of or seen at a company when it comes to customer support. So reach out to us anytime you have questions. We would love to help you, serve you, and just partner with you in building the body of Christ. That's what gets us up out of bed every morning.
That's right.
All right. We're just grateful that we get to be a part of this.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. So here's what we're going to do today as we get into this live stream. I have a brand new account that I created just this morning so that I could build a Church Connect page from scratch with you all and show you just how easy it is. But the reason I brought Michael on board for this is because this guy is the actual expert on building websites. Yes. How many have you built this year?
Oh man, probably 100, 200 websites in the past year. So I've had a lot of opportunities to just kind of work with churches and, really work through our platform, but also to learn more about like what websites do for churches. So I really have a lot of insight on how to build a beautiful church website, but also how simple it is to build a church website with the ChurchTrac platform using Church Connect.
Yes, perfect. So because this guy has made so many websites, the way this is going to work is he's going to walk me through building a Church Connect site. So we're going to use his expertise to make this website as great as possible within such a short amount of time.
Yes.
So what we're going to do, the structure of this is first we're going to cover some initial setup things that you need to have in order before you jump in and create a website. And then once we get through that initial setup, then we'll get into the actual meat and potatoes. We're going to build a Church Connect site. And then at the end, we'll share some pro tips so that you can get the most out of this. And we'll also have a Q&A at the end. We have a live chat going now. Michael will be keeping an eye on it. Our team, I'm pointing like to a door in the studio. You can't see it, but we got some people on the other side of that wall that will be monitoring the chat. They'll answer questions as we go, but also don't worry if like you don't get a question answered. We'll tackle it by the end of this. So just hang on to your questions, ask them at the end, and we'll make sure you're taken care of by the end of this. All right. I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Are you ready? I hope you're ready because we're going to go ahead and dive in. So for initial setup, when it comes to just a quick overview of what exactly you need and what you need to think through before you even touch your Church Connect feature in ChurchTrac, is the first is you need to have your branding already in order and on hand whenever you sit down to make a website. Part of what you do for churches is not only will you build a website, but sometimes you'll even help them develop a brand or at least give them some assets to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like what are like a couple of the most important critical things you need to have in order before you sit down to make a website?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say the two things that are most important with building a church website is having a logo, having a brand presence, right? You need people to be able to identify who you are as a church.
Yeah.
Whether this be a logo that you guys have on your church building or on a sign that you have outside, or if you need someone to build one or have one created for you, you need to have a logo. And this is really an identifier for who you guys are. The second thing, and I would say one of the most important things about your church website is are the colors that you choose for your brand.
Yeah.
This can be something that you draw from your logo or something that you guys have had for years, or I would even suggest if you don't like what you have now, start fresh before you build your new website.
Yeah. So if you don't already have a logo and a color palette, I recommend that you create one. There are some really great tools for doing this that make it easy. Not as a ChurchTrac employee, but just as a normal civilian, I recommend personally that you that you at least look into a program called Canva. I have a feeling if you're watching this, you're probably already familiar with Canva, but if you're not, definitely check it out. I use Canva all the time. It's a very powerful and useful program, and they offer nonprofits their paid subscription for free. So you get access to everything on their platform at no cost for your church. And there's templates that you can use to build a logo, to like create a logo for your church very quickly and easily. So definitely look into Canva. When it comes to colors, though, I actually have a palette up that I made for this video. I have this palette that I created on a website called Coolors, 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 and the website is coolors.co. It's really easy to use. We'll even just do it real quick just to show you how fun this is. It's almost addicting. I don't know about you, Michael, but I personally have spent why can't it be reached? Oh, so funny. Okay, there it is. Yeah, all right. So if I go to coolors.co and click this Start the Generator button, it gives me a palette, and all I have to do is hit the space bar, and it uses like machine learning. It's the program has learned what colors pair well with each other. So all you have to do is hit the space bar and it feeds you a new palette. And when you like a color, you just lock it in and that color stays and the next ones start rotating through more of them. So you can quickly build a color palette very easily for your church that looks amazing. It's very professional. I created one for this church. I'm going to use this throughout this website build. But just check out Canva and check out Coolers if you need resources like that for your church. But you cannot jump in and start creating a website for your church without certain aspects of your visual brand identity already nailed down, because the website won't be cohesive with how your church expresses itself visually unless you have a logo and a color palette working as like your North Star.
Right.
So make sure that's all laid out before you jump in. I feel like we need to address fonts though.
Yeah.
So when it comes to adding fonts to Church Connect, what exactly is the best approach?
Yeah, so fonts are a big part of your church website. This is essentially where the meat of your site comes in, is where you have content about who you guys are, information on the front of your page, but also on your secondary pages that express who you are as a church. But I would say that you don't necessarily need custom fonts that come from maybe Google Fonts or other options. We really have a built-in set of fonts that will work best with any browser that somebody would view your website on. And typically, the fonts that you find in ChurchTrac are going to, we have enough options that will fit your church brand and your church needs for that.
And then last but not least is the URL. There's two things you can do regarding a URL in Church Connect. So Michael, why don't you talk us through those?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a couple different options. When you first start your ChurchTrac account and you open up Church Connect, you should get a little button that says you have not customized your Connect page link. I apologize.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and click that, and it'll bring you to a new page, to page setup, where you will click customize your link now.
Yep.
And here you'll have the opportunity to choose a keyword that matches you guys best. So for us, we will do
an example keyword. Super generic here for this one, but you would put in like your church's name or the acronym or initials or something that is tied to your church that helps people understand that this website is for this church. So I'll check the availability, make sure it's available. All right, I'm going to choose this as my permanent keyword. Obviously, you wouldn't throw in something this generic, but this is just a video we're doing.
Yes.
But yeah, you would put in like your church's name or initials into that keyword, even if you have your own URL, because in ChurchTrac, the keyword you choose here also affects other things like the email address that people see whenever you send an email from the people screen. That's not relevant for today, but it's still important for you to choose a keyword even if you already have your own URL. But why don't we talk about how to do like a domain setup?
Yeah, absolutely. So the keyword that you choose at first, this is going to be a subdomain that's provided to you for free through ChurchTrac. So when you choose that keyword, this is going to be what's associated with your account, as Matt was mentioning earlier. But this is a subdomain of ChurchTrac.
Yeah.
Now you can use that, and you're free to use it, but you can use your own domain. So you can purchase one, or if you had one with a website previously, you can pull that in and point your Church Connect website to that domain. So you can do that by going to Connect Settings and then click Domain Setup.
Right there.
And here you'll have a couple of options. You can choose whether you want to use a domain you already have, or you can click I need to purchase a new domain name. And this will take you to a page where you can access, we really encourage churches to use Cloudflare. And we're not endorsed by them in any way, but they're really great at protecting your domain and content through your domain and provide just a ton of protection there. So we would really suggest that you guys use Cloudflare, and we have a direct integration with them, so it makes it easy to connect to your ChurchTrac account.
Yeah. So those are the things that you need to have laid out. Your brand identity, which includes primarily your logo and your color palette, as well as you at least need to know what fonts you want to use, because we already have those. We already have the standard ones built in, which they're going to work fine for your needs. And then also you need to know what your URL is, whether you're going to use the free one with ChurchTrac or bring in your own. You still need to know exactly what that is and how to set that up in Church Connect. So that's why we illustrated that. Yeah. But now that we've got that initial setup, out of the way, let's go ahead and dive in and actually put together a website for this. Again, it's a pretend church, but we're gonna walk you through the process and give you also some really good principles for how to build a really good church website in general. To start all of that, we need to go to the page setup.
Yes.
This is where we customize the main page of the website that you're going to have for your church or your ministry. So I've got a logo, I've got a color palette, I've got a few other things that we're going to throw into this already geared up, ready to go. Let's just start from the top and work our way to the bottom. So now that I've got these branding assets, what do I need to do with them, Michael?
Yeah, so with your logo and with your colors that you just got from whether it be Canva or Coolers, you can go ahead and in this first section here, you'll see a button that says Edit Nav Bar. So this is going to be your navigation bar, which will have either your logo or the church name that you add there, but we really suggest you have a logo.
Yeah.
Then from here,
let me grab this hex code. So this is why you need to have your branding assets ready to go.
Yes.
Because now I can just grab that hex code for part of my branding, that color palette, and just add it straight into the navigation bar. I like a large nav bar. I like it big instead of narrow and small, so I'll select large there. And then we can go to the logo, and I actually have a logo ready to go. Let me just click and drag that over. It'll take just a second. There we go. There we go. All right. So I'm going to close this. There we go. And it'll refresh. Awesome. And there is that navigation bar with that color from the brand palette, a logo that I created. That image also has our brand palette. It's just all cohesive.
Beautiful.
All right. The other thing to bring up in the nav bar is links. You can add links, but we can't do that just yet. We have to make the pages that we will link to later once we're done building this. So we'll circle back to this a little bit later, but I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, I think another point when we're talking about logos really quickly, especially with the nav bar being the height that it is, make sure you're choosing a logo that's going to be a bit wider. So something that's maybe 1200 pixels by 256 pixels.
Yes,
so that'll be shorter than it is wide. So you want it to be wide.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I breezed right over that. Yeah, if I go back to Edit Nav Bar and go to Logo, we actually have that detailed here. Yes. It can be as wide as you need it to be, but it needs to be no more than 256 pixels tall just because of the limitations of the size of that real estate. Yes. But yeah, make sure it's wide so that you have lots of horizontal space to use to display that logo. This is actually a really good point. I talk to a lot of churches and see a lot of Church Connect sites where they'll have a logo and it's just an icon, or it's the icon and then the text below that. So it's vertically oriented in its design and setup. But for the logo you're adding to the top of your church website, it needs to be horizontally oriented. So make sure that the icon in your logo is to the left and the text is to the right. Has to be that way. Yep. Otherwise, it looks really tiny and no one will be able to see or read that logo.
Yeah. And I think this is a great opportunity to use Canva as well to kind of orient your logo. Yep. So if somebody made this for you and you guys didn't actually put it together, you can throw it into Canva and orient it the way that you need to. So copy paste, create a new version of it, and just make it really beautiful so that it fits wide for this capacity.
Yeah, I see somebody in the chat, God's Promise 2288. You said, with the logo, mine was round, but it seemed not to work well with your page. That's probably why. I have a feeling you have a round shaped icon. That's fine, but it's probably just that. It needs to have text streaming to the right. It needs to be horizontally oriented so that when you add it, it's able to take up all of the available real estate in that nav bar.
Yep.
All right, we've spent a lot of time talking about that. I don't want to drag this out, but I just wanted to highlight that so that when you upload it, it looks great on your church's website. So now that we've got the navigation bar done, why don't we move into the next section?
Yeah. So your next section is going to be your hero or your header section. And these are kind of just names that we have for, typically people will call it a header, but you can call it a hero.
Yeah.
So you can go ahead and click Add a Hero. And this is really going to be the draw and the entryway to your church, essentially the front door the content that is above the fold, as we like to call it.
Yeah, go ahead and buckle in. We're probably actually going to spend several minutes just talking about this. And the reason why is because when your church's page loads on somebody's phone or on their laptop, the navigation bar in this header section will be the thing that they see first. And your church's website is the first impression people have of your church, period. The vast majority, it's over 80% of all people who visit your church first visit your church's website. They check your website before they ever step through the front door of your church. So your website is crucial in creating a good first impression. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking through not just like how to set up the header section, but how to make it great. So why don't you share your expertise? What is the first thing that we need to do here to make this awesome?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I would typically go ahead and choose out of your brand colors a background color, not necessarily because it's what's going to be seen when they open the website, but when the page is loading, when things are happening, you want to have something that's cohesive with your entire website and with your brand. So we'll go ahead and grab that color and we'll insert it into the field there with the hex colors.
Okay. So now that we got the background color, though we're not stopping there.
Correct.
We're not going to stop there. This is just like a fail safe almost.
Correct.
For when the image doesn't load, it still looks good. But we're going to go further than this. But you still do need to have a background color.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So moving on from there, we'll want to go ahead and add a background image. And this is probably one of the most necessary aspects of your website, because when people enter your website, you want them to see an image of what you guys are doing, what you guys are about, and the message you're trying to convey. And here, Matt has chosen an image of people raising their hands, worshiping, praising the Lord. And this is really going to show off what our church is doing.
Yes. So here's I'm going to get on a soapbox for a minute. Please just entertain me for a moment. You need to add a photo here, yes, instead of just having a plain color background. But it needs to be a certain kind of photo, not just any photo will do here. For instance, do not add a photo of your church building here. I see this all the time, Michael.
We do.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it all the time. You see this way more than I do. So the reason why the church building isn't the best idea is because people already know what your church building looks like. They've driven by it 1,000 times. They don't need the website to remind them that this building is your building. When people go to your website, they want to find out what your church is like before they pay a visit. So you need to add a photo, like the best thing to do is to add a photo of the smiling faces of the people that a guest will see when they visit your church. People smiling, greeting each other, fellowshipping, or hands like the ones I'm uploading, hands raised, worshiping, stuff like that, so that people get a sense of what the inside of the church is like, not what the outside that they have already seen is like.
That's right. Yeah, and to go along with that, when you put the image of your church or something that's not of your people or something that you guys do, it's really cold. It feels cold to anybody that might be visiting, your website. You don't want them to, you want them to feel invited and warm and like they can join your church, be a part of something in your community and not just a part of, in a building.
Yeah. So add a photo. It doesn't have to be a great, amazing, super professional photo. A mediocre photo of your people is better than a photo of your building or a stock photo. That's the other soapbox I'm going to get on. Don't ever add stock photos to your website, ever. It gives a false impression of what your church is like. People are perceptive. I can generally tell when a photo is fake. Yeah. It's not really from that thing, from that place or that company or that organization. Generally speaking, you can suss that out. Yeah. Don't add stock images. I added a stock image just now because this is a pretend church. You need to add a photo of your actual people to the header or the hero section of your website. One thing I've done just to make it really you'll see why I do this in a moment, but I did add an overlay to the image, a light overlay, slightly opaque. I don't need to make it super opaque. A little opacity to this is going to be beneficial when I add text on top of it. But that's just some pointers. Obviously, you can play with this to make sure it's what you need it to be. But add a background image of people at your church to the header or hero section of your website. So that's that. What's next for the header section?
So we have a couple different options also in the toolbar of your header section. So when you're hovering over the image, the new image you just added, you'll see a few different options. The first one I like to mess with a little bit first is the add content button. And this will give you the option to either add a heading, add a paragraph, image, or button. And by the way, this is for any section of your website. But in this use case, we're going to click use a template. And here you're going to see a slew of different call to action templates, templates with images, header templates. So you have a ton of different options to add to your website, so you don't have to know HTML. You don't have to know any special coding to build a beautiful website. You have your options right there.
Yep. And then once I select that template, I'm going to add a text backdrop, probably a solid, or not a solid, but a translucent dark one. There we go. That way the text stands out from the image behind it. It's easier to read.
Yes.
And then, you know what? Another thing, just like with the nav bar, you can also set the height. You can make it really big. You can even make it a superhero. I love that. But you pick and choose exactly what looks best. I'm going to go with large just to give this some room to breathe.
Yes.
But that's how you set up your header section. That's at least the construction of it. Right. Now that we've got the detail, now that we've got some of the components here though, I can click on the text of this template because this, we seek to grow fully devoted, spirit-empowered Christ followers. That's cool. But if that's not your church, if you have a different phrase or thing that you want to add here, you just click on that text and change it. And this is really important. Like you've done a lot of work on SEO, search engine optimization. What should be here? What text should we have here in the header section?
Yeah, so you really want to have your church's name. One of the biggest things that Google is looking for and especially when somebody's looking for your church, they're looking for your church name to be on the front of your website.
Yeah. And then beyond just the actual church's name, we also recommend you add a tagline. Just some really short, punchy sentence that conveys the character or tone of your church. So it could be something like, instead of saying the potential church here, I could say a family-friendly church in downtown, Jacksonville. That's where we're based here at ChurchTrac. So a family-friendly church in downtown Jacksonville. Boom. So that's a good tagline, just a good way to convey what your church is like so that when people see that, they know, oh, this is what I'm looking for. Also, Google looks at that tagline. And so if somebody in your area searches for a family-friendly church in Jacksonville or in your town, then Google will see this at the very top and go, oh, this is what that person is looking for, and make sure that your church's website appears at or near the top of the search results. This also will affect like your Google Maps. Whether or not your church is promoted on Google, like Google will actually promote certain locations in Google Maps over others. So this helps a lot. And then again, make sure your church's name is in the header section as well. So both your name and the tagline need to be in this text.
Yeah. So we had a great question here from Sacred Harps. Where was that template? I think this would be a great opportunity to show them for the hero, Matt, if we want to open back up and just choose a new template for the hero to show them how they could add their church's name and their tagline to make it a little bit easier for them to work with. If you go ahead and click add content again and you click use a template. Here, as I said, you'll have a ton of templates to choose from. And I would even say welcome to our church.
Yes, that one.
And change that content to where you can have your church name bright, nice, bold on the front of what's going on there.
Yes, so welcome to our church could become the church name. So this is perfect. This is a better template than the one I selected earlier. So there's the name. And then I said, a family-friendly church. I should learn how to type. So there's family-friendly church, blah, blah, blah. We talked about that just a moment ago. Put the church's name, the tagline, and then next is the call to action.
Yes.
There's a button here in the template. Several templates include a button that you can then make a call to action. So when you're building a website, this is not just for churches. This is for websites in general. You need to have in mind a specific action that you want a visitor to take. Basically, you need to ask yourself, what is the one thing? If a visitor to the website does nothing else, what is the one thing I want them to do? In this website example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a call to action for plan a visit page. So I'm going to create a plan a visit page later, and I'm going to use this button as a call to action so that if someone comes here and sees this website and they're interested in learning more, they'll click the plan a visit button and go to a page to learn more about the church. We'll tackle that a little bit later. So have a call to action. In your mind, know what you want people to do when they land on your website and make a button for that particular action.
Yes.
And then, so we've got the header section. We've done the church name, the tagline, and a call to action. You even gave us a pro tip for adding a neutral color in the background. That way, so the reason why is because if somebody is on a browser or their internet is just really slow, that image may not load right away. Yep. And so it'll make the website look a little weird until it loads. So having a neutral color or one of your brand colors in the background just keeps it cohesive with the way the rest of the website looks until that image loads. Yep. So thank you. That's a good pro tip. I would never have thought that. So I'm so glad I brought you into this.
That's what I'm here for.
All right. So that's the hero and header section. Let's talk about the body text below that. So the nav bar in the header section, that's the above the fold on the website. That's the first impression. But there's also another concept that we need to keep in mind, and that is the one scroll rule.
Yes.
So in web design, you've got the above the fold. You've got the very first thing that people see when the page initially loads on their phone or on their laptop. But when it comes to church websites, you also need to, someone should be able to find everything they're looking for in one scroll. And by scroll, I mean they should be able to just swipe their finger once from the bottom of their phone screen to the top to see the next section of the website. And in that section, they should find everything they're looking for, either the information or a button that takes them to the information that they're looking for. So your next body section is also really critical in developing a good first impression that improves the likelihood that the person seeing the website will also come to your church. So, Michael, let's talk through adding a body section.
Absolutely, yes. And as Matt said, this is a great opportunity to talk more about your church and call someone to action again for something that you need them to do. So we click that add a body section button, then we hover over the section here, and again, we have a few different options. Yep. Same tool, same options. So here we'll go ahead and click use a template again. Templates are going to be your best friend, so please don't avoid them. I think they're a great tool until you can learn what you want your website to look like.
So many great templates.
Yes. So we're going to look through here and we're going to find the best looking one that we can get. Typically, you want a call to action in your one scroll. So we'll go ahead and click that second one there. Add it, and boom, it's going to inject that template for you automatically, and you're going to have a few different options here to edit, as Matt was showing earlier from the header.
Yeah. So again, just like what we were doing earlier, you just click on the different elements within the template to make whatever changes you need to make to the text in the template. Because obviously, this is something generic. It's just an example. You need to make it what is right for your church. What we recommend you add here to this first body section, the very first thing just below the fold on your website, is a sentence or two that conveys what your church is. So go a little deeper. Like I had a family-friendly church in downtown Jacksonville as the tagline. Go a little deeper than that and convey exactly what people can expect when they first come. What is the very texture and nature of your church? What kind of church is this? Say so in a sentence or two. Keep it really short. It needs to be something that within a few seconds somebody can read and understand. So once you're done adding that, you can also add maybe a secondary call to action. So there's a plan a visit call to action in the header section earlier. We could maybe have a second call to action for sending prayer requests or
learning more about the church.
Learn more about the church. Learn more. I could say learn more, or maybe learn about our ministries. So go to like ministries page or something like that. Add a button there that goes to the page that lists out all the different things that your church has going on.
Yes.
You need to decide for yourself what is the thing that you want someone to do when they're ready to go further and learn more about the church. You need to decide what that is and then add a button here that will take them to that next step. So go ahead and think through that next step. Add that here as a call to action. Once you're done adding the couple sentence that conveys what your church is and then also a secondary call to action, another thing that I recommend you do very soon after you've got like that nailed down, I'm going to scroll down below the card section and add a body section below just to show you the fact that you can do this above and below the cards in Church Connect. What I think you should do is, well, you said this, something that's really critical and helpful for both visitors and for search engine optimization purposes is service times.
Yes.
Having that in your website helps Google to know more about your church, and then we'll put that in someone's lap when they search for something online. So why don't we put in some service times?
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. So we'll do the same thing. We'll click add content, and this is great practice for you guys. So you'll see us walking through it, and when you get the chance to, go ahead and do it too. And we'll find our service time template. And
there we go. So we'll use this selected template. It's already designed exactly the way it needs to be.
Yes.
You've got Sunday. You can put in maybe a couple different times if you have multiple services on Sunday.
Yes.
Wednesday. Obviously, whatever your church has going on, if it's a little different than this, make those changes.
Yep.
Just click on the text in that template and then type away to change what's there to fit exactly what the service times at your church.
Right. And another great option here, if you see this in a template, Matt, if you hover over the Sunday section or Wednesday down below, you'll see a little cogwheel to the right there. I don't know if you know about this, Matt, but if you click that cogwheel,
Tell me more, Michael.
Yes, I will tell you.
What is this?
If you click that cogwheel, you'll see an option to either duplicate the column or delete the column. And this has been in here for a while, but typically people will miss it if you're not hovering this section. So you can add new service times. This is a feature that we have in some of our templates, not all of them, but this gives you the option to add new service times, or if you're adding with the template for your Meet the Team, you can add new columns for Meet the Team. Really cool option for people.
Michael, I work here and I did not know about this. Yes. That's amazing. I had no idea that was possible. I love that. So that makes it easy to make quick changes to a template to fit your exact context and needs. There's one thing that you need to keep, that I want to make you aware of, and so that you don't forget. And it's something that we have literally forgotten to do right here in this live stream, is when you're done with a section, I'll scroll back up to the top. And when you're done with a section in Church Connect, there's this little toggle switch in the toolbar at the top that says Published to Web. The default is that it's off. It's in the off position. The reason why is because this allows you to finish making that section before the public can see it. That way, no one happens to come on your website while you're in the middle of some changes and then see something unfinished. But you do need to toggle that to the on position. Otherwise, no one will see it. Yeah. I forget this all the time. Just a quick pro tip to throw in at this point, one thing I recommend you do as you're building your website is you go ahead to the right of that URL here at the very top. There's an arrow, little arrow icon to the right of that URL box. It will load your church's website. It'll pull it up for you. I highly recommend you have your website up on another tab. That way you can go back and forth between this page setup menu and your website and just check your work as you go, just to make sure it looks the way you want it to look, functions the way you want it to function. You can, if you launch something and make it public and you realize, oh, that's not what I wanted it to be, you can unpublish it, take it back off, and then make the changes and then republish it.
Yes. Absolutely. Matt,
Super easy.
I think another great option for our people as they're building out their website is, I don't know if we're going to hit on this in a little bit or not, but I noticed the button was blue and that didn't really match our branding.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Something we forgot.
This is a great thing for you guys to know. So if you go to your Connect settings, you'll have the option here right on the first page in global settings to either change the background color here. And typically you want to keep this as a neutral color, maybe a
Very
white,
neutral.
a gray.
Yeah.
You want people to be able, you want the text to be able to pop off the screen so that people can see what you guys have going on. You don't want to have a light pink that people are not going to be able to see your text on.
Well, not only that people can't see, but also like, listen, I'm not dogging on anybody in particular, but I've seen some background colors that are just hard to look at.
Right.
They just give you a migraine. Don't pick wild colors to be the background of your church's website. The default is a very light gray. Honestly, that works for the vast majority of use cases, just this default. What you do need to change though is the button or accent color for your website. So I'm actually going to go back to my palette. I'm going to grab either of this yellow or this
I think that green color would work perfectly. It looks like it worked with the logo very well.
Either of those would work really, really well. I'm going to use that blue, green, that teal. I'm going to drop it in here, paste, there. All right. So that way, when I go back to page setup, there, look at that Plan a Visit button. Yes. It's now the same green as the green in the logo, and that just already it just ties things together and makes it look really good. But even that Publish to Web button also turned to green too, and not the ChurchTrac blue.
Yes,
I love that. So now that we've got that taken care of, and we've also got the service times and location handled, last but not least is the footer. We have to tackle the footer because this is as critical, almost as critical as the header and hero section for search engine optimization. One thing if you're watching this and you're not sure why we keep saying SEO or search engine optimization, just to give you a quick little like 30,000 foot primer on this. So SEO stands for search engine optimization, and it's the process of making your website not only good for people to read, but also for like the Google algorithm to understand what your church's website is. And it makes it more likely that your church's website will appear at the very top of search results when someone in your area is looking for a church through Google or Google Maps. It's really, really critical in helping people find in your community find your church and pay a visit. So that's why we're giving you these tips, like having your church's name and tagline at the very top. And also in the footer, it's really critical because Google looks at the header and footer of your website to learn more and to understand what your church is and what it's trying to convey to people. And it makes it more likely that it will recommend your website to people who are searching. So what should we do in the footer to make it primo?
Yeah, absolutely. So Google looks for Google. We say this all the time to our customers as they're building out their website.
Google likes Google products on websites.
Absolutely. So we want to add a Google map to the website, and we actually have a template for that.
Yes.
It makes it super easy for you. So what we'll go ahead and do, Matt, we'll click Use Custom Footer.
Yes.
And this will give you a generic screen there. We'll click Add a Custom Footer, and this will just inject a simple template for you to work with where you can click and edit the content
Which, frankly, this is a pretty good template.
It is.
This is already very good. It's got your church's name, address, contact info, and your mission. That's actually really good, too, for Google. But what we're going to do is we're going to add a template that'll make this just a little bit better.
Yes.
Even just a little bit more awesome. So I'll click Add Content, use a template, and then if I scroll, well, actually one thing I want to show you all, we have these tabs at the top, which will filter out all other options and just give you recommendations for the section you're looking at. We have this template that has a Google map already built into that template. And like Michael was saying just a moment ago, Google likes seeing Google products. Google likes Google. This helps Google promote your site. The reason why we recommend putting the Google map in the footer as opposed to like a body section is because doing it to the footer will add the Google map to every page of your site because the footer remains consistent across your website. So now Google Map is in every part of your website. Google likes that. Google likes seeing that Google Map, and we'll use that to promote it just makes it a little bit more likely that your church will be promoted by Google in a search. So now that we've got the Google map there, you can click the church name here at the top. Just says First Church. Yes. Make sure it changes to your church's name. All you have to do to update this map, because this is the default for the template. To make a change to that though, just click the address to the right below the church's name. And by typing in a new address here, that will actually then change the pin on the map.
Yes.
And then type in your church's phone number here. Make sure you got all that contact info. And once you're done with that, there is an option in the top left corner in this toolbar to edit the footer. Definitely need to click that because it gives you a little more control, like the footer background color, just like what we were doing earlier. I'm going to do a different background color than the top one. I like the two-tone, personally. I mean, if either use the same color in both or try a two-tone thing. Don't go too crazy. Maybe do like a neutral in the bottom instead of as opposed to the top. But yes, just use your branding for that. I want to show the church's address. I can add a church's phone number here and an email address here. Under the social tab, I can link to all of the church's social media accounts and even promote the option to download Church Connect on their phone as an app. Like our system will automatically inject buttons to take people to the Android or the Apple app stores. And then under links, again, we don't have links to share yet, but this is where we'll go to add them when we're ready. So I click close, and there's the footer for the site. And again, oops, I forgot to publish this. So I'm going to publish that. I'm going to publish all of these sections that we've added so far just to make sure it looks good. And then I'm going to go back to this example website and refresh. And oops, oh, you know what? I unpublished it. That's right, as an example. Oh, I got to do that again. See, I forget this. Even the professionals,
we all do.
Even the professionals forget. So there's the header section. There's that first body section, the cards, the service times, and the footer. We just did that.
Yeah.
We just did that, and it looks great. I mean, the cards obviously need a lot of work. We're going to get to that in just a moment.
We will.
But the branding and the layout and the content on the main website is already like 80% of the way there.
Yeah.
And we've only been doing this for 20 minutes.
Yeah. And if we weren't talking about the content itself, we would have this done in 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You click add content, add a new template, and you're good to go.
Yeah. We made this as simple and as user-friendly as possible so that people of all varying skill levels and expertise can jump in and make a great looking website for their church or their ministry. So now that we've got that done, now that we've got the landing page, or we call it the main page of Church Connect, laid out the way we want it, there can be some more things that we add. There's other you can add more body sections above and below the cards. There's other templates for you to explore in adding to the page, just so that it makes it look the way you want it to look. But now that this is largely done, now we're going to go to the cards page and add some actual pages and content to the website. Because so far all we've done is affect the first landing page of the website. Now we need to start creating secondary content or secondary pages and other content for people to see and interact with. So the cards, Michael. When it comes to creating cards, well, I'll say this before we get into what Michael has to say. The cards page, the default cards here, these are just here as examples. I'm going to be brutally honest. My boss is in the office and he designed all of these default cards. They are not good. They don't look amazing. They're not what's right and best for your church to use. I'm harping on this because I see a lot of churches, they jump in and they just think that they can they try to use the cards and the images that are already here and just change them to have the content that they want. Don't do that. I highly recommend that the first thing you do on this cards page is delete every single one of them without mercy. Just crush them, kill them all. Get rid of every single one. The reason why is because this doesn't fit your church's branding. It doesn't fit your church's tone. It doesn't fit your church's visual identity. So go ahead and get rid of all of them. It took me just a few seconds. Oops, okay, there we go. Go ahead and delete everything. We just put them here as an example so that you weren't flying blind when you start here. You can kind of see what the end result will be when it's all said and done. But I've just deleted all of the default ones because that's not what I want for this church.
Right.
We're going to make a couple cards. We're not going to like make a dozen different pages and secondary content for this website because we only have a limited amount of time. But we're going to go through at least a couple cards just to illustrate this process. Because we made the process of creating cards very simple and streamlined. Once you've made one or two of these, you'll have the familiarity and muscle memory to make all of the cards you ever need. So what is we made the page setup. We had a couple calls to action.
Yes.
That should, I think, already kind of guide us in our first steps here.
Right.
So I had a plan a visit call to action. Why don't you walk us through creating a page for that?
Yeah, let's create a page for plan a visit.
All right.
So here you'll see a few different options. The one to add a new card is add a card.
Yeah.
What I would suggest doing with something like plan a visit is let's do a form card. I think that would be a great option because it really acts as a page card. In the top right there, you'll see form card.
Well, I want to show to everybody. There's different card types, 12 of them, in fact. Just hover your mouse over each one, and there's a little blurb about what that card is and what it does so that you can understand what you're getting yourself into when you select that.
Yes.
So you can make an informed decision. So you want a form card instead of a page card.
Yes.
Okay. All right. You're the expert.
All right.
You're the expert, Michael. All right. So I'm going to select form card, and then I'm going to name this card.
This is crucial. Naming your card is going to make it easier to refer back to when you're on your page setup and looking and editing your cards throughout the process.
What Michael just said will make more sense in a moment. All right. So I've selected the card, I've named it, and I'm going to click add this card. All right. So what I always recommend churches do first is add an image.
Yep.
The reason why is because if you leave this and try to come back, it disappears.
Yes. Yeah, we want to
it's
hide.
It's still there, but it's harder to find.
We want to hide cards that aren't being used, especially if they don't have an image or they don't have content in them.
So I'm going to click edit this card design, and then I'm going to upload. You can add text to this card. That's an option. I recommend you don't do it. It looks way better if you add an image to the card that you've created that has your church's like brand colors and fonts, and the image itself conveys what the card is for. I've already done that. I actually created some images in Canva for this. So I'm going to upload. I'm going to click that upload option, and then I'm going to quickly drag and drop this over. There we go. So I've got a plan a visit. This image just says plan a visit. It even has, I love that design with the image through the text. So that way, when someone sees this card, they'll know, okay, if I'm trying to plan a visit or if I want to plan a visit, this is the button I click on to learn more.
Yes.
So I've got that image there. I'm going to return to the card setup. There we go. Now what should I do next?
Yeah, so a few different options here. So I would look at the options on this slider already. So you'll see the first option, go to page setup, which will take you to a secondary page where you can edit the content, add templates.
Well, this goes back to the page setup.
Yeah.
This actually will take you from the cards page to page setup.
Correct.
Where you can now customize the page for this card, the secondary page. The process and the workflow is exactly the same. You just add a hero or header section. I can add a background image. Let's say let me grab this real quick. Drag and drop this over. There it is. All right, close. And then the text, I can use another template. Yep. Let's say I want something really simple, like I want this one, and I'm actually just gonna delete the button and the secondary text. So I'm gonna remove this. There we go. I just want a really big, bold text there. Something like, welcome to your church. Welcome to your new church home, or something like that. Welcome to your new church home. Boom. Or you can just say plan a visit. Yeah. But there, I already have something that looks pretty good already. I can make other changes here. Obviously, you all know exactly how that works. We've illustrated how to make changes to these sections. But from here, I can add another body section and start plugging away at sharing what people can expect. Well, whatever information I want to convey to people in this plan a visit page, I can go ahead and share that here and type it out, maybe pick different templates to make it look great. You all obviously know what you need to say on these pages, so I'm going to let you do the work of that when you get to it.
Yes.
But this is a form card. This isn't just a page.
Yeah.
So if I go back to the cards page, click on this plan a visit card, I have the option to edit form questions. Now see, I'll be honest, you and I prepped for this live stream, and I was anticipating making this a page card, and then we would do a form card as another example.
Right.
What do you recommend they put in a form for a plan a visit page?
Yeah, so I think it's great to give people an opportunity to respond, especially when you're giving them a call to action. So when they're on your homepage, and they click that button, you want to allow them to respond and for them to learn more about what's going on at your church, get more information,
to reach
send
out,
in a form and reach out. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I would do here is it's automatically if you click that button at the top outside of this, you can toggle it on to add a name and email.
Oh, I see.
But you also have options to add a question. So for example, and we have some pre-built options here. So if you click pre-built, we'll have options to choose phone number, ask for prayer requests, spiritual decisions, some really great built-in options to ask your people and to do it super easily and quickly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just build in what you would love someone to submit to you or reach out to you with in a form when they're planning a visit or they're checking out your church for the very first time. Yes. Another card type that you can add is a page card. It does exactly what we just illustrated. It just doesn't have the option to customize form questions. So you just get a page with more information. The form card is cool because you get the page. You can customize the page that the form is on, but you also get a form people can fill out and submit to you requesting more information. The giving card, this is great because if you set up online giving in ChurchTrac or on the giving screen, the giving card is just automatically done. Like you already have a page done. You just select the giving card, give it a name, and then you can from here just upload an image just to make it obvious, again, when someone clicks on it, what that card is for. There's all different card types. There's several different. We don't have time to go through all of them. Just again, click that add a card button, hover your mouse over each one so that you understand a little bit more about what that card is for, and start plugging away, making content for your website so that people in the community can learn more about your church, connect with you, and hopefully pay a visit so that they can join your body of Christ and come to saving faith.
Yes.
Hear the good news preached. That's what we're doing this for. This isn't some obligatory thing.
Right.
A website is not something that you have to have or that you should make just because you have to. It's because this, again, is the best way to convey who your church is to people in our modern world and encourage them to visit so that you can minister to them, bring them to the cross, and they join the body of Christ.
Amen.
Love it. So that is the meat and potatoes of what we had for you today. What we'll do is we'll go through a few. Actually, you know what? One thing I want to do before I finish this out, I have a smartphone connected so that you can see what it looks like on somebody's smartphone. Because what I illustrated is the website, but Church Connect is a website and it is a smartphone app. So when you do the work of building your church's or your ministry's Church Connect, you also get it doubled as an app. You get a 2-for-1 special. So I've got the Church Connect app downloaded. It's in the top right-hand corner of the screen. If I tap on it, this isn't the same account that we've been building. This is another account that already has everything designed and set up and ready to go. But when somebody accesses Church Connect, your church's logo can be right there at the very top. All of the cards that you add to the cards page can show up here as well. You actually get the ability to choose if a card appears only on the app, only on the website, or on both. So you can tailor these platforms to your audience that you expect to be using these platforms. So there's the cards. There's also a toolbar at the bottom where people can make a donation to your church. You've got online giving incorporated as well. You can see upcoming events at your church. This is integrated with the church management software, ChurchTrac. So the event screen in ChurchTrac feeds into this events page in Church Connect so that people can stay up to date on what's going on at the church. You also get a media tab where if you have discipleship resources you want your members to very easily find and interact with and you want to bless them with, you can add them to this media tab so it's all in one place and easy for them to get to. And as well as your members can create a profile. They can have a profile and account in Church Connect, which gives them access to their profile on the people screen in ChurchTrac. and they can see notifications you've sent them. They can even see a directory and a library of all of the worship songs that you use. And what I love about this is the option to share Church Connect. Your members get a QR code that if another member scans this, it will download Church Connect on that person's phone. So your members can be a part of getting Church Connect out to more people. So all the work you're doing in the ChurchTrac account in Church Connect can be seen by more and more people. Because that's the reason you're doing this. You're not doing this for no reason. You want people to see the website. So that's one way to launch it and get it out to your people. I know what we've just done today is fairly basic. Next week, Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to cover some more in-depth church website design aspects so that you can take it just from a good SEO-friendly website to something that's really awesome and just makes a great first impression. So definitely sign up to join that live stream next week. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay up to date on everything we do, like these live streams. You can go back and watch past ones. You can watch this one a second time. You can go watch next week's again if you want to. So make sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel, to this YouTube channel. While I'm talking about this, go ahead and make sure you share all of your questions. We'll get to those here in just a moment because we want to make sure that you get all of your questions answered before we walk away from this. But while you're doing that, also remember, we have a Facebook group that we would love for you to join. It's a great place to get inspiration for Church Connect. I'm dropping a link into the chat now for that, so go ahead and click on that link. It's a great place, a great community of people that will answer your questions about Church Connect as you build your website, and also just help give you inspiration for what you can make it look like and do for your church or your ministry.
Yeah, and people love to show off their Church Connect pages on our Facebook page. It's a great opportunity for you to ask for examples of what a good church website looks like, and just learn more about what you can do with Church Connect and how to apply that to your own Church Connect website.
Yeah. And then last but not least, reach out to the support team with any questions that you have. We're here for you. We would love to help you, even when it comes to making your church website. All right, let's get into the questions. I know that there's a few that didn't get answered in the chat, so let's make sure we tackle these. All right, Alexis Ferreira, J3S, you asked, can we customize our church code? Yes, actually, you do get the ability you do get some finer controls over the code in Church Connect. So in the Church Connect account, if I go to page setup, there is a cogwheel, a settings cogwheel in the top right-hand corner. Oh, that's the page description. Where do you go for the CSS?
So you can't...
Is that under Connect settings?
Yes, under Connect settings.
Okay.
So they won't have direct control over their specific code for their app. I believe that's what she's asking.
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
So they'll be given a code. I can't say whether or not this will be added, but please, if you have any questions or if you want to forward this to us in the future, so it's something we can implement in the future. If you see that little feedback button at the bottom left, please feel free to submit any requests that you may have. For features for us to add. ChurchTrac is really a platform built off of your suggestions, so please feel free to go ahead and add those there.
Yeah. Kathy asked, is there a way to redirect our current website to our new Church Connect site before we drop the old site? Yeah. So if you own the domain for that old site, you can use that same domain in Church Connect. That's what Michael was talking about a moment ago, or not a moment ago. It was actually all the way at the very beginning of the thing. You go to Connect Settings, and then go to Domain Setup, and connect that domain here. The thing to be aware of, though, is the moment you do that, when somebody uses that link or goes to that domain, they will no longer see that old website. So you're not like maintaining both at the same time. You are leaving that old one and using Church Connect going forward when you set up that domain.
Yeah, but in the meantime, you can actually grab the link from, if you go to page setup, you'll see the subdomain that you created, and you can actually link that on on like the front page of your website and say,
Yeah,
hey, check
the
out our
current
new
one.
website that we're working on. If you want
Yeah.
to point them there, but I would make sure you have some content on there before you actually go ahead and share that, so that people have something to look at there or have, a way to respond.
Yeah. Oh, and you know what? One thing that we didn't do that we said we were going to do was talk about links.
Yeah.
And I just remembered that. So we've made the plan a visit page. This is just, I want to make sure that all of you watching this, if you were watching at the beginning, you get this. There's the edit nav bar at the top. Once you create cards on the cards page, make sure you go back to the nav bar and click the links button and just link to that page that you created. Close. There we go. I just clicked on, I need to add some text here. So plan a visit, add. There we go. And I can do that for every single card and page. Well, not every single one, but up to 4. But there, I just added a link to the plan a visit. I could add 3 more links in the nav bar.
Yes.
And then do the same thing for your footer. Just make sure you add links to both.
Yes, and in your footer, you can actually add as many links as you want. So you have a little more flexibility in the footer as opposed to the 4 links that you have in the nav bar. But the reason for that is so that you're not cluttering your navigation bar with choices for people. You actually want people to go through your website and see what you guys have to offer. But that's really what the cards are meant for, is to give people an opportunity, to see secondary pages and to see something that you've created that's super beautiful, like those card covers or the content that you've added to your front page.
Yeah. Alexis asked, my last question, is that a ChurchTrac Yeti? Actually, this is not. This is my personal cup with, it's actually got the coffee company that one of our coworkers has. But if you want, Wes is bringing a Yeti right now. We do have Yetis. Go ahead and toss it. There we go. Perfect. How about this? We do have ChurchTrac Yetis. If you are interested, send us an email to live@churchtrac.com. Send an email to live@churchtrac.com. Let us know. Give us like what you loved most about this live stream. Give us some critiques or pointers for what you think would make the next time we do this even better. And then let me know that you want this Yeti, and we'll pick one at random and send this to you in the mail. You'll get one for free. But yeah, thank you very much, Alexis, for asking. People love these Yetis.
Yes.
Let's see here. Betty asked, can you have 2 maps in the footer, 1 church and 2 locations? So the template only has 1. However, if you want to go really deep into this, you can add like a body section to Church Connect.
Yes.
Where if you add a body section, one thing that we could have pointed out earlier, and we didn't have time, but we'll do it now that we're in the Q&A. In the toolbar above the body section, there's this little keyboard icon. If you click on that, it opens up the option to have a little more control over the text in that template.
Yes.
But you also get a code view. So if you know enough about HTML coding, you can build almost whatever you want in Church Connect. Seriously. So add that. If you know how to build that in HTML code, you can do that here and it'll be on your website.
Yes. I would say in Betty's case, I would go ahead and add 2 body sections at the bottom below your cards, and then have 2 sections where you have your map. Do you have 2 maps there using 2 different sections? That would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
You don't really need 2 maps in your footer, I would say.
No.
I would just go ahead and have, whether it's your main campus on in your footer, and then just have both your other maps.
On the landing page.
On the landing page.
Yes, I agree. And we actually, in our templates, we do have template, not just the template I showed you for the footer, but even a template that's just the map. Yep. Just a big old map.
We have another one in there too.
Yeah.
But take a look through those and see what we have to offer for you guys.
Yeah. So definitely take a look. Some of these are going to work. Just play around with it and make it exactly what you want it to be. All right. Thank you very much, Betty, for asking. Kathy, you said we are changing our domain name, though. Oh, okay. Well, if you're changing your domain, then you don't need to worry about the old domain and the old website. Just phase all that out when you're ready to get rid of that. Create or purchase a new domain and then set that up in Church Connect. And you have the ability to then choose when you phase out the old one. So you can maintain both for a little while if that makes sense in your context, and then get rid of the old one when it's time.
Yeah, I would say that for anybody that has questions about domains, I would purchase a domain either through Cloudflare, Namecheap, or something like pork buns. This gives you the opportunity to really integrate easily and move your domain over to ChurchTrac. We use some different sorts of DNS records, and I know that kind of goes a little bit further into maybe what we want to talk about on this live stream. But those are the 3 different providers that I would suggest getting a domain from, and you can purchase those there and use their free plan to connect your domain to ChurchTrac for your Church Connect website.
Sacred Harps, you asked, there was a question about video card, was hoping you'd get to. I don't see that question. I must have overlooked it earlier.
I think they were just asking how video cards work, essentially.
I see that.
So
okay, yeah. So Prophetess Victoria asked, how can you drop a video in a card? So thank you very much, Prophetess Victoria, for asking. And thank you, let me see who it was. Was it Alexis? Thank you, or yes. Sacred Harps. Thank you very much for bringing that back to my attention. Yeah, so adding a video to your website, super easy. You go in cards, select add a card, and then the video card option is here in the bottom row that allows you to embed a video directly to your Church Connect site.
Yes.
So I'll click add this card. And from here, I don't need to add an image here, because when you add the video, it just uses the
cover
thumbnail. That's what I couldn't think of it. Uses the thumbnail. What you have to do, though, is you have to choose what type of video you're adding. We are not the host. We don't store the video. You have to pull from another platform, particularly either YouTube or Vimeo. So I've got YouTube selected. I just have to go and grab the video ID. What is the video ID again, Michael?
Yeah, so if you hover over that little icon, that question icon next to the video ID button, it'll give you something like it's an alphanumeric string, so letters and numbers, of something at the end of the URL for your video. So if you go to something like YouTube, we're not going to do it here. You should be able to go to any video that you want to add, and you'll see a little string at the end of your URL that you can paste in there. And Matt has one right there. Perfect.
Yeah, don't tell me I'm not going to do it, Michael.
You got it, man.
So if I click close, there. That's incredible. This live stream.
That's it.
I just grabbed the ID from this live. Yeah, and that even, some of you are probably even wondering, like, can we add live streams? Yeah, you can add YouTube live streams. Just get the video ID from YouTube, paste it into that. And then if I wanted to, I could
play the live stream.
Yeah, live stream
We can watch ourselves.
Whoa, that'd be a little weird. I'm not ready for that. All right, so that's how you add video cards or videos to your website in Church Connect. Thank you very much for asking. Alexis, you said, y'all are awesome. Hopefully this gets me brownie points for the Yeti. Yeah, it does. So thank you very much for reaching out to us. And thank you for watching, Alexis, and everybody that's still here. We love doing these things.
And if you guys have any questions, please, as Matt had mentioned at the beginning, and as we constantly mention in our live streams, go ahead and you can click that help button at the top right of your screen and submit a support ticket. So you have questions about your Church Connect page or setting up your domain, don't hesitate. Don't suffer in silence. I've said this in the past 2 live streams I've been in. Don't suffer in silence when it comes to these sorts of things. If you're struggling, let us help you. That's what we're here for. We're helped to equip you to do the work of ministry.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And that's our desire here. That's why we wake up every morning, to serve you guys and to help you grow and to help grow the kingdom of God and to see people saved and yeah.
Well, I don't see any more questions, so we're going to go ahead and call it now. Again, reach out to us if you have questions later. We would love to serve you and help you. I hope you got something out of this. I hope you're ready to hit the ground running and make a really awesome and beautiful Church Connect website. And also pray God's blessings over your church in the year 2026. Have a great day.